Okay, it's called the Dovetail Stop Guide. It's number 9. Okay, so again, this time here we're looking at something that a shape. It's basically two shapes. We want to do the hexagonal part, and then we can do the triangular sort of wedgie shape. We're going to start with the triangular wedgie shape. Going to choose the left plane, so we're going to do this sort of as a bit of a side-on view. Grab your line tool, and essentially I'm going to use our origin point as being the first point that's here, and basically we're going up with a height of 35 for this, and then from there, so if you want to get back to that line on the toolbar, you can just press L on your keyboard. I'm going to just shift my drawing on that side, so we're going to draw out this way. So it's got a flat on the top, which is 15 mils. Press enter. Back to your line tool. It comes down. Now, actually, I'll come back to that line. So let's do the bottom line first. So we go from this point here along the bottom. It's got a length there of 50. It's not quite 50, but let's put 50 in and press enter. Okay, so we've got those two lines there, and then we should just have a diagonal line that's going from one of those to the other point that's there. So basically looking like that. Then they want us to put a fillet in this corner here. So there's our fillet. The fillet size is 4. And then press enter. And so if we were to do a measurement, we should be able to do dimension and go from there to there. And you can check to make sure that is 45 out to the side there, which it is. So that's all good. 35 for there, 15 for that. Okay. Excellent, I think that's all we need to do. Okay, so we're going to go finish sketch. We're going to extrude this, and we're extruding this 50 millimeters. I'm going to make this symmetrical, and around that plane, go like that, and go OK. Alright, next thing that we're going to do is do the hole on the side. So let's grab that, select that face, spin it around so you can see it, might make things a little bit easier. Okay, again, we've got to reference this. So the hole from the bottom edge is 17.5, and from the other edge, it looks to be in between something. And if you look at the top view on the drawing in the top left-hand corner, you can see in that wedge shape that the distance between that is 7.5. I'm going to center that into that, so half of 7.5 is basically where we're going to align this. So I'm going to go second reference, and just again to show you, there we go, what you can do. So you can go 7.5 divided by 2 equals, and I shouldn't have pressed enter there because I didn't finish it. I just wanted to put that in there. So I'm just going to go back to edit feature. Okay, so your 3.75 is correct. Now we're going to do this part here. And this is a M407. So M4 basically means that it's a tapped hole. Go down to where it says size, and we want this to be 4 millimeters, and that should come M407. And there's the 6H, and it's not a countersunk hole; it's just a simple hole. So get rid of that big circle off there, and it's going in terms of distance. It's going through all. So extent, you can put all, and if we just want to check that, so spin it around, yep, make sure it's going all the way through. Now and go modelled, that'd be the next thing, and go OK. And we should have a hole all the way through, which we do, and it's got a thread in it. Okay, beautiful, that's going well so far. Okay, let's do this wedge at the top. So I'm going to go sketch, top face here, and we've got like a dovetail to put in this. All I'm going to do now is just grab my lines, and we're just going to rough that in, keeping in mind that this first one's got to be on an angle. So what we're going to do is basically just sort of rough this shape out, and we're going to do all the dimensions in there in a sec. So okay, now we've done the shape, we're going to dimension all this. So from point to point, up the top here it needs to be 32. The angles of these here need to be 78. And do the same for this one. Okay, so they're both 78. We don't have to worry about the length of the bottom one because that's defined by these two here. We do have to put a dimension between that point there and that point there. That dimension is 9. That then should be 9 on that side also. Okay, so that's all the numbers that we need, except the 7.5 from that edge to there. So 7.5. Okay, now we've sort of fully constrained our shape there. We can then cut that out. So we'll go finish sketch, extrude, select our shape, distance, all doing it as a cut. Flip that around just so the arrow is going in the right direction, and go OK. And we should have, if we look around, there's our dovetail going through, a bolt hole goes all the way through. That's looking very nice. Okay, now that we've basically finished the wedge part of that, we've got to now do the hexagonal bit. Now if we look at our drawings, on that side view, it actually gives us a height that the hexagonal is going from this top face here upwards, which is 15, and then it gives us 2 more measurements, 35 and 22. So basically what we can do is we can go create sketch on that face there. Okay, we're going to go to create polygon and circumscribed polygon, so you want the first one there, and I'm just going to draw it off to the side so I'll get it what I want it to be. 6 sides. You can change the number of sides there, so if you were wanting to draw pentagons or octagons or triangles or anything else, you can put in the number of sides and it will do that for you. Now the dimensions for the hexagon is that it is basically 25 from face to face, and we know this because on the side view of that, it actually gives us the dimension of that, which is 25. So I'm just going to draw that as that, and I'm going to dimension that afterwards. So I'm going to go top face to bottom face is 25, and there we go. So now we're going to have to align this to where it needs to position it over here. So at the moment, I'm just going to go get out of my dimension tool, drag my hexagon over there, put the center roughly on that green line. Okay, you can see that it spun around. It was being a bit of a pain. So we're going to use some constraints up here to get this all back to where it needs to be. Okay, so let's line up the first one. We want to put a vertical stroke constraint between that to our origin point, and do that. So that's now locked in that way. All that's going to do now is it should, that just disappeared too, all the way up there for some reason. But it stayed on center, so even though it moved all that way out just then, it still stayed center. Okay, so that's where we want it to do. Collinear means that it lines on the same line. We don't want that. We don't want it to be equal to something, but we do want it to be parallel. So we could now say that we want this line here to be parallel with that line there. And you can see the 2 parallel constraints. And it's now lined that up, squared that up to what we want it to be. So that's what we want it to be. So go OK. Okay, so there's our shape. Now we're going to do the extrusions of that. So I'm going to go finish sketch. I'll just put this on the angle a little bit so you can see what we're doing, hopefully. Oops, I want to go right angle, or this will do. It's not quite what I had in mind. There, that's better. Okay, so we're going to go to extrude now. select our profile, but in direction here, we're going to choose this one here that says 2 sides. So the difference between 2 sides and symmetrical is symmetrical goes the same distance either way. So to go 10 mils up, 10 mils down. 2 sides lets you actually apply 2 different measurements up and down. So from that plane, we want to go 15 millimeters on the up, like that. And on the bottom one, we've got 35 and 22, which makes 57. So let's go 57. Oops, going to run out of space here. You could type this in, that's okay. 57. Now, because we've gone through that shape, it wants to do it as a cut. We're going to do that as a joint. And we're going to go OK. Okay, so there's our hexagon through our shape. Now, we've got some next things I'm going to do is apply some fillets to that. We have a radius of 2 on the corners. So get our fillet tool, and we need to select the edges of our hexagon. So make sure the edge is not faces. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 mil. So just want to round them off like that. Do the same to the bottom half of it. So again, fillet tool, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 mil. Okay, now if we look back on the top, we've got to put some little holes at the top there. And so what we're going to do is show you another way that we're going to do this. So I'm going to go sketch, do a sketch. Now they say they're M2.3, so I'm going to do a circle that is 2.3. Go OK. Now I need to position this, and we don't sort of have any dimensions there for that, but what we do have is we have an arc that's there which will give us a center point. So I want this center point to be lined up with that center point, so I'm going to make those concentric. So I want that and that to be concentric. And you see how they snap together now, they share the same center point, and this is all changed to colour. So I'm going to finish sketch. There's our hole. Now I'm going to go back to this hole, use our from the sketch, and select our sketch. We're going to go, these are threaded holes, so we need to change the size. So it is tapped, they're not countersunk. So the height of it, we have 4. So change it to 4. Diameter down here, now we need to change this to 2.3. And then you can see it's come up with 2.3 times by 0.45, which is what's in our diagram there. It is a 6H. Right hand, make sure it's modelled. And then the depth, as you can see, got a down arrow there, it's got 4, so that's our down, that's our 4 mil depth there, and go OK. So there's one of those. Now, what we could have done is drawn 6 different circles and done that pattern 6 times. However, what I'm going to do is do a circular pattern, and I'm going to choose a feature, which is the hole that we just did. The axis becomes our center point of that, if I can find that. And because I haven't done this on center, I haven't got that, so let's see if I can just select the curve, edge or axis. That's not what we want. Okay, so I'm going to cancel for a sec, and I'm going to go to my sketches and turn on the sketch for that, and hopefully let's try that again, see whether that picks up the center point in there or not. No, it's not bringing up a center point for us. Alright, let's go. How are we going to do this quickly, Andrew? Okay, let's go sketch. Do a quick sketch on here. we may be able to go project, include, project that, and let's go from midpoint to midpoint, and midpoint to midpoint, and lucky last midpoint to midpoint, and that would give us a center. So let's put a point on that. Okay, go finish sketch. Alright, let's see whether we can pattern it around that. Okay, try that again. Let's go pattern, circular pattern. Type we want is a feature, select the feature. Axis becomes that point there. That's picking the line, not actually the point. Okay, this is being a real pain. Alright, let's see whether we can do construct axis through 2 points. Axis perpendicular point, we want one of them. So face, let's set the face. There we go, and let's see whether that gives us our point. Alright, hopefully that axis line's in the middle there, so let's try that, go OK. Doesn't look like it's in the middle. Go pattern, circular pattern. Okay, try this again. Features, feature. I'm making this look a lot harder than it needs to be. And that must be off center, that axis. Bugger. Okay, let's try this a third time. Construct axis perpendicular at a point. Okay, so hopefully that one's better. Alright, let's try this. Circular pattern. Select feature. Okay, that's better, I think. Right, change that to 6. Oh. Okay, so you can now see 5, 6. Now it's not right though. You can see how all of these things are very slightly off. So that's where the lesson is learnt. If I had done this and originally lined my origin point up with that, I would have saved myself quite a bit of stress in this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go backwards in my timeline, forget all that crap, and let's just go. So we've got one hole. What I'm going to do is just going to quickly go into my sketch and go edit that sketch that we did. So this is going to be a little bit trickier. Let's just quickly do the 6 circles, because that's just going to save us a little bit of time. And let's just do it this way. So quickly done all those. Let's just quickly put a concentric constraint on those to snap them all to those arcs. Like that. Oh, that one's already constrained. That's a win. Something's starting to go right for us. Okay, now let's go finish sketch. Alright, let's go back to our whole command. Let's select multiple, and we should be able to go bang, 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 bang. They're already 7, it's already threaded, it's already right angles, the right depth. Everything else there is okay, so go okay. And essentially we should have been able to pattern that original one out if I'd drawn that properly. But there you go, at least you got to see another way of doing it, so you can do a series of things and pattern around that way. Okay, last one is we've got a big hole right in the middle of this, so let's try doing that at least once instead of 10 times. Okay, the middle big hole is a countersunk hole. It is this one here. the top part of it there is a 12 mil. It is going down 2 millimeters. The bottom part of it is an 8 millimeter diameter, this one here. So we're going to change that, because we did threaded, so take it off threaded, it's not a threaded hole. This diameter here is just 8. Okay, now what we do have to do, we have to look at the top, we need to centre that. So this point here we're going to have to do some referencing around the place. So let's go reference to that edge there. We know it's 25 across. Half of 25 is 12.5. And we go reference number 2, and we can do it from this face here. Should be 12.5. And press enter, and there you go. There's our hole. Now it doesn't look very deep. The countersunk is 2, the hole is all the way through. So let's just quickly edit that. So it always pays to read everything. So the distance is all. That's better. Go OK. Alright, so there's our hole going all the way through. We've got these ones here which are all threaded. And we've got our shape there as per the diagram. So if I go that on there. There it is there. So that's our shape. Just quickly, because we're here, if you go into the top level of your browser and you go to appearance, and say you wanted to actually make this look like what it is in the drawing, let's just go to paint, and let's go say it's powder coat smooth and yellow. Now I've already downloaded this, but if you didn't, you could click on the arrows to download it. Essentially just grab that and drag that across, and then close the window, and there's your part that looks, you know, a little bit more similar to your drawing. Don't forget to then save that, and this is called Dovetail Stop Guide into your skills task, and save. Done.